Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm in Davidson.
There you go. Okay, everyone. Wrapping up day one at NTT IndyCar Series Content Day with the driver of the number 30 Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing Honda, Pietro Fittipaldi. Pietro returns to the series after making 9 starts between 2018 and 2021 for Dale Coyne Racing. Pietro, welcome back. Kind of wrapping up your day. How's your day been so far?
Yeah, it's been a long day, I think, for everybody. It's tiring. It's one thing after another, but yeah, I'm extremely happy to be here. So yeah, looking forward to getting in the car soon.
Nice of Kathy to hand out some 5-hour energy drinks as well, which is obviously a huge announcement for you guys yesterday.
It's amazing to have them on board. It's their 20th year anniversary. 5-hour energy drink is an iconic brand. I remember, growing up watching both my uncles race at Daytona 24 hours. You're in the pit wall, and I remember all the teams having the little 5-hour energy drink stands there. So I remember it from years ago. So it's amazing to have them on board.
All right, questions in person. We'll start there with Pietro Fittipaldi. Bruce Martin. Bruce.
I think I asked you this during the Zoom when you were introduced, but you don't have to go far to get experienced advice from anybody, whether it be in your family or whether it be Max or anybody like that. Now you're on a team where some veteran drivers and Bobby Rahal and all that. So how much do you tap into that to make yourself as good a race driver as you can be?
Yeah, you tap into it as much as you can. As you said, my family has a lot of experience with, the motorsport world, and now going into a team like Rahal Letterman Lanigan, with Graham there and Bobby Rahal, both, drivers that have a lot of success in IndyCar. I'm for sure going to be speaking to both of them throughout the season, trying to learn and prepare as best I can. And it's a big privilege, to be part of this team, and as well to have the family that understands so much about racing.
Nathan Brown, Indianapolis Star.
Pietro, I think similar to Bruce, I think we asked you this when you were introduced a couple months ago, but just following up, will you have any sort of a reserve driver role with Haas going into 2024?
Yeah, it's a good possibility. We're just talking through the details in terms of calendar and stuff like that, because for sure the team has know that my priority is IndyCar. And I need the time to be able to prepare well for the races and be fully 100% committed to IndyCar. But it's a good possibility, so it's working over the calendars and seeing the best way to do it.
Thanks.
Let's take some questions off Zoom. We'll begin with Joey Barnes, motorsport.com. Hey, Joey.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Hey, Pietro.
I see you. I'm hearing you through a speaker. I thought you were in the room.
Oh, well, technology these days, they're crafty. So, obviously you played in the IndyCar sandbox, not too long ago, but maybe why is this a better opportunity and a better fit for you now to chase a full-time opportunity in IndyCar versus maybe a few years ago?
Well, I think it was just that, a few years ago, things happened and I didn't have opportunities at the time. For a couple of reasons, and then I got the opportunity to start working with the Haas F1 team, and then kind of started focusing on that. But I've always been in touch, with a lot of the team owners, friendly, and I've been speaking to Bobby for many years, and the opportunity was there, and it worked for both of us. And the team had strong partners on board, so I'm super happy to be a part of the team, and I'll be racing full time in IndyCar. It's something I wanted to do for a very long time.
And then obviously you've seen the news with Gunther today and how that's transpired with Haas. I'm just kind of curious if I can get your thoughts on just his influence over your career.
Gunther, I'm extremely grateful to him, for the trust he had in me. I learned a lot, through him as a boss, as a friend, as a mentor, and he's a person that I respect tremendously. And it's a decision that the team made, but I know that working with Gunther, he was a great team boss, and yeah, I learned a lot from him, and I can't thank him enough. To him and both Gene as well for the opportunities they gave me in my racing career.
Awesome. Thanks, bud. Best of luck.
Thanks.
Dan Jones, Dive Bomb Motorsports. Hi, Dan. You're on mute.
Sorry, Dave. Thank you very much. Afternoon, Pietro. You've had a good content day. Last 5 years or so, you've obviously bounced around quite a lot of different series. You've done loads of different things. Do you sort of see your long-term future in IndyCar, or is there something you want to be doing for the next few years of your career?
Absolutely. I've always wanted to do it. It was just a matter of opportunity. And sometimes, I think from the outside, it's easy to be like, I think this driver has to do this and then do this full time. And the racing world, doesn't work like that. There's a lot of variables that are in place to be able to have a driver racing, and at times you just have to take whatever opportunity is given to you. And that's kind of how it was the past few years. And even racing in WEC this past season with Team Jota, we were, very strong over there. We won a race at Monza. We basically led every practice and qualifying session in Le Mans. And it was going really well in the World Endurance Championship. And I had opportunities to do LMDH for this coming season, which would be amazing because WEC, and IMSA together, they're growing so much in popularity. But when the IndyCar opportunity came by, I was like, I've always wanted to do this, and I gotta go for it.
And just another question. Obviously, the team had quite a decent year in some aspects last year. Christian obviously got the win in Toronto, and you had a few poles between the team. Do you think personally you can reach those ambitions next year? Do you think poles and wins are potentially something on the cards for you?
For sure. I think you have to believe it, and the team has shown tremendous pace, especially on the road courses and, towards middle to the end of the season. The work that they're putting into it. But we know how competitive the IndyCar season is. I mean, every driver on the grid basically can win the race. And with the amount of strategy that's into an IndyCar race, it gets so complicated at times. So sometimes you're the fastest driver and at the time with the best strategy, and then you still end up not winning the race. So that's how crazy it can get. But I think we have to take it, race weekend by race weekend, maximize each and every session, and then the results will come.
Thanks, Pietro. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Of course, Dan. Virgilio Franco, blogger de Indy. Go ahead.
Olá, Pietro, como é que você tá? Tudo bem?
Tudo certo.
Pietro, teria como você passar para nós como que vai ser o seu programa de testes agora no início da temporada? E se você já teve algum contato com os motores híbridos que serão implementados no meio do ano?
Então, ainda não tive nenhum contato com os motores híbridos e eu vou fazer um teste em Homestead no final desse mês. E aí outro teste em Sebring no final de fevereiro. Então só vou ter 2 dias de teste antes da primeira corrida, que não vai ser muito, então por isso que vai ser um grande desafio, mas a gente precisa maximizar a oportunidade.
Obrigado, Pietro. Thank you, Dave.
Valeu.
Thank you. Andres Gutierrez, Columbia Motorsports. Go ahead.
Thanks, Dave. And hi, Pietro. I would like to ask you a question in Spanish, if possible. ¿Cómo ha cambiado tu preparación y tu mentalidad desde 2021, cuando fue la última vez que corriste en IndyCar, y cómo encaras esta temporada a tiempo completo?
Sí, estoy muy feliz con la oportunidad de estar compitiendo en una temporada completa de IndyCar. Es una gran oportunidad para mí y pienso que ahora soy un piloto, claro, mucho más, no mucho más completo, un piloto más completo con mucha experiencia. Trabajé ya 5 años en Fórmula 1 con el equipo Haas, gané carreras en el Campeonato Mundial de Endurance. Hice muchas cosas en los últimos años que me ha traído mucha experiencia. Entonces, pues, me pienso que estoy bien listo para encarar mi primera temporada completa en IndyCar.
Gracias, Pietro. Thanks, Dave.
Gracias.
You got it. Fernando A. Alonso from IndyCar Al Día. Go ahead, Fernando.
Fernando Alonso?
Not that one.
No.
And we already met in Mexico City a long time ago, Pietro.
How's it
¿Cómo
going?
estás, Pietro? Te quería preguntar acerca de, se habla mucho acerca, bueno, tú también has hablado mucho acerca de estas charlas en familia, acerca de indicar y cómo creciste con esto. ¿Podrías contarnos un poco de alguna memoria que tengas, algún recuerdo de estas pláticas, cómo fueron creciendo tu fanatismo por indicar?
Sí, claro, mis primeras memorias de indicar es cuando yo vine a ver mi tío Max Papis corriendo las 500 millas de Indianápolis, pienso que fue en 2008, y yo tenía como 10 11 años, estaba con él y acompañé el fin de semana todo con él y me quedé apasionado por las 500 millas de Indianápolis, porque cuando ves en la televisión es especial, es emocionante, pero cuando estás en persona viendo la carrera aquí en Indianápolis es una otra experiencia y eso que realmente me dio el amor por y el sueño de un día ganar las 500 millas de Indianápolis.
¿Y podrías decirnos qué te ha sorprendido de visitar y ya estar ahora en el equipo en Rahal, su nueva fábrica, que dicen que es muy similar a un equipo de Fórmula 1?
Sí, es extremadamente bonito. El equipo está haciendo mucho trabajo para preparar para la temporada. Yo me mudé para Indianápolis, entonces ahora estoy viviendo 10 minutos de donde está el equipo. Estoy yendo todos los días al equipo para me preparar y es sí una experiencia increíble estar pudiendo hacer eso, correr por un equipo de Indy como Rahal, que es un equipo lendario y estar viviendo cerca del equipo, yendo todos los días al taller, trabajando con los ingenieros mecánicos, es increíble.
Bueno, muchas gracias, suerte. Thanks, Dave.
Gracias.
Gracias. Let's go, Joseph, Robbins Racing. Go ahead, Joseph.
Yep, thank you. Pietro, you spent a handful of years aside from IndyCar racing and endurance, specifically in prototypes. How has that helped shape your racecraft into 2024?
I think endurance racing is one of the best racing, that there is, and it teaches you a lot as a driver because sometimes, for example, you're racing your class car and you're racing him really hard, and out of nowhere, you get a line of 10 GTs in front of you that both of you have to get by as quickly as possible. So it's a whole different type of racing and teaches you how to be aggressive. It teaches you how to anticipate traffic and things that are going on ahead of you. And as well, just learning about maximizing everything because sometimes you're like at Le Mans at night and running by yourself, and at the end the race win might be dictated by a few seconds over 24 hours, so every little thing counts. I mean, how fast you stop on your pit box, how fast is your out lap, your in lap, losing as little time as possible with traffic, making sure you know how to maximize the corners to lose as little time as possible in traffic. So it's it teaches you a lot for sure.
Yeah, and my next question is, you're going into Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. They have two teammates. You have a young driver, Christian Lundgaard, who's really showing his true form as of late, and then you have a veteran, Graham Rahal. How is that chemistry going to carry you into this full-time ride?
Yeah, the chemistry is great. Obviously, Christian is doing very well. Graham as well, and they both have experience in IndyCar. So for sure, I'm going to be relying on them to be able to learn as much as possible. It's not going to be easy. I only have 2 days of testing before the first race, and it's not a lot of mileage. And a lot of these tracks we're going to, I mean, I don't know a lot of them, so I know it's going to be a challenge. And but I know I got to make the most out of it. And at times I'm going to have to, for sure, rely on both Graham and Christian.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll take one more in Spanish and then wrap up in person in case anyone has a follow-up. Let's go. Alejandro Berzosa from Pit Lane Motor. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Bueno, Pietro, primero de todo, enhorabuena por estar aquí en la IndyCar. Me gustaría preguntarte, primero de todo, sobre la nueva introducción del reglamento de motores híbridos que se introducirá a posterior de las 500 millas de Indianápolis. Me gustaría saber un poco que si eso te ha afectado y te puede afectar a tu rendimiento durante la temporada y también un poco a la preparación que has tenido de esta tu primera temporada a tiempo completo en IndyCar.
Tú me preguntaste qué va a cambiar con los motores híbridos para mi preparación. No entendí, perdón.
Sí.
Ah,
¿Cómo
ok.
has preparado tú la temporada en IndyCar considerando de que durante la misma va a haber este cambio de reglamento?
Sí, va a ser un desafío, la verdad, porque vas a empezar el campeonato con un tipo de carro y ahí después van a cambiar el sistema del motor y implementar el sistema híbrido. Entonces, no va a ser fácil porque vas a aprender algo que no tengo mucha experiencia, que es el indicar cómo está ahora. Y ahí mitad de la temporada va a cambiar mucho. Pero va a ser un desafío, como yo dice, y voy a ser el mejor para maximizar todo, manejar mucho en el simulador, tener muchas juntas en el equipo con los ingenieros, intentar tener la máxima información posible antes de toda carrera.
Y por último, un objetivo en términos de resultados que tengas para esta temporada.
El resultado es hacer el mejor en toda etapa, toda sesión. Entonces, antes de cada carrera, me preparar y maximizar todo el fin de semana. El objetivo siempre es ganar carreras. Entonces, IndyCar es una categoría extremadamente competitiva. Entonces, no es fácil ganar, pero tienes que ir con la mentalidad de maximizar toda sesión, toda calificación, todo entrenamiento y todas las carreras.
Bueno, feliz año, que tengas un fantástico primer año completo con Rahal y mucha suerte. Thanks,
Muchas
Dave.
gracias.
Thank you. Unless there's any follow-ups in person, I think that was impressive. You knocked it out in English, Portuguese, right? And Spanish. I think it's the first three language press conference we've done here today.
Cool.
It might be the only one I'll session. So anyway, congratulations on the new ride, and look forward to seeing you out on the racetrack here in 2024.
Thank you.
That's Pietro Fittipaldi as we wrap up day one. A reminder that day two begins bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. Renus VK, Marcus Ericsson, Santino Ferrucci, Padua Ward, Christian Rasmussen, Christian Lundgaard, and Marcus Armstrong will all be in the morning session. Lunch break begins at 11 a.m. Eastern. Afternoon session begins at noon with Colton Herta, Stingray Robb, Kyle Kirkwood, Felix Rosenquist, Kiffin Simpson, R.C. Anderson, and Linus Lundquist. Thanks for your patience all day long, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.